There was quite a few people that told me, Freddie, you don't want to get into radio. You don't want to get into radio. You don't want to do it. Trust me, it's not the business. And I still did radio.
You had to see it.
And one of the first radio stations that I saw was 99.1 KGGI, and it was here in the Inland Empire. You know, there was, at the time, Power 106, 92.3 The Beat, and 99.1 KGGI. And I met a guy named DJ Linwood, who happened to be one of the biggest, EDM house DJs at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got to meet him, and he took me and my dad to the station. We got to be on DJ Linwood's show. Well, not my dad, but me, right?
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, hey, do you guys want to say hi to ODM? And we're like, yeah. So he walks me and my dad down the hallway of the radio station, down to the FM studio of 99.1. ODM is there live. And that was the very first time I got into the 99.1 studio, and first time I met ODM. Years later, he is here in the Radio Flyer studio.
I know.
Hey, let's give it up for ODM.
Yeah. Can I clap for myself?
Yes, you can.
We need it.
Absolutely.
I want to thank myself for being here today with all my accomplishments, if I can say it right. What's up, Freddie?
And so many changes, so many things have evolved since that day, since you guys were on the second story of 99.1 KGGI's old studios.
Absolutely. I mean, you mean the place where people would come pay their child support downstairs.
That's
exactly. They come get their 99.1 T-shirt upstairs.
That was it.
That's the spot.
Man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I wanted to talk about. And even in real life, I don't know the complete story of ODM. Okay. So I want to take it back. Basically, before a lighter shade of brown, where were you born?
I was born in Orange County, Santa Ana, to be exact, and off Bristol. Not on the street. There's actually a hospital there. It was called Mercy Hospital. Yeah. And, well, I ain't going to give it a year. That's where it stops, man.
Did you live in Santa Ana for a while and grew up there?
I did. I went to, most of my childhood was there. Went up until my sophomore year, and that's when I moved out to the IE. A lot of people were coming out this way, from L.A. areas, OC, to live a better life because, it was just getting crazy out there. I was getting into too much trouble, so my mom said, we're yanking you from there, and we're bringing you to Riverside.
There was a big movement, though, when everybody was moving out of LA to the IE, and that was becoming a really big thing.
Yep.
You moved, but right in the middle of your high school career.
Yeah, pretty much. Like my sophomore year, I kind of just, was into baseball at the time, and then I thought I was this badass rapper. You know what I mean? At lunch, at the lunch benches, doing my thing, and then I came to Riverside, and I got sized up real quick, and I learned, hey, you're alone out here, bro.
Yeah. So you would rap in front of the kids at high school?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I stopped. I was doing it. I started in middle school, and then I took it to my freshman year there at Santa Ana Valley where I went to school, and then I kind of stopped, got into baseball. I had a girlfriend, and then my mom yanked me, and then we came to Riverside, and I had put down the pen, so to speak, and then there were some guys at the lunch benches, you know what I mean, in high school. They were rapping at this school in Riverside, La Sierra, and there's what it just all started. I was like, hey, man, come on, I could do that, and, just my ego just kicked in. I was like, all right, let's get busy, man. Let's cipher.
You got to find a way to kind of fit in, too, though, at the same time. And what kind of kid were you?
I was the Chicano 8 Mile Eminem, bro.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to prove myself, but I didn't throw up. You know what I mean? So
he didn't get that nervous.
I was
no mom spaghetti.
No mom spaghetti. Nah, homie. I was working. She didn't have time to cook. Grandma cooked it, but nah, dude. I was just first off, only child. You know what I mean? And
so I'm an only child too. Yeah, and she has an only child as well.
I have an only child at home.
Okay.
I get the personality.
Mm-hmm. I really just came to realize that there is a thing called only child syndrome.
Absolutely.
And I didn't really notice that until somebody pointed it out to me. He said, "Dude, like, you don't know what it's like to have kids." I go, no, you're right, I don't. And I think that's why I gravitated more towards my friends' homes, and went over there when my mom was working all the time. But I was always outdoors. Back then it was a different era. You know what I mean? Growing up in the 70s, 80s. You know what I'm saying? Everything
getting
was
the knees
outside.
dirty, elbows dirty.
Dude, grabbing anything what you can just to like make something out of nothing. I remember playing with a paint bucket with like dirt and mud and just trying to stir up. Like that was how we kept ourselves busy aside from playing baseball in the front yard.
Is there a difference between being an only child and being spoiled? Because we're all only children spoiled?
They're
That's the question.
synonymous.
Right?
They're synonymous with each other, I think.
Absolutely. It comes with it because, I mean, sure you've gotten it like, hey, you're just spoiled. And they're quick to go to that.
Yeah.
Well, nothing wrong with being spoiled with
No.
love. You love your son. You know what I mean? Like, if you had 3 or 4 of them, it doesn't matter. You're not going to love them any less. It's just more love is what it is because it's one. And then
It doesn't have to be split.
Do you feel like being an only child contributed to your creativity as an artist years later?
Oh, this is a great question, Freddie, because absolutely. Because when I wasn't like, when I was at home and, you know, I was either in trouble or my mom told me to go to my room and clean up your room. When I was done doing that, yeah, I didn't have any siblings to mess around with or share a room with or whatnot. So, yeah, I would turn on my radio boombox, whatever. I would listen to K-Day or I would listen to whatever hip-hop was popping at the time. I had vinyl there I would listen to. So that just opened up a world to just, you know, visualize and dream.
Yeah.
And there's where I just, you know, took liking to music so much. And you know, props to my uncle who was 7 years older than me. He had like all the hottest music at that time. And I was able to go in his crate when he wasn't home in his room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always kept myself busy and, you know, I couldn't do anything else. I mean, I break danced. Is that, yeah, that's how you say it. I rapped, you know what I'm saying, in the mirror. I recorded cassettes from, you know what I'm saying, back to back to record. That's how we recorded our music, listened to the radio DJ all day. And I was that kid requesting songs too in my room.
Who were some of the artists when you think about that era that really heavily influenced you as a kid?
Well, let's see. Mom's, if we could start there, she grew up listening to all the 70s disco, you know what I'm saying? So the Saturday Night Fevers, Donna Summers, what have you. And then she would listen to some oldies occasionally. But I just remember specifically, you know, I was always in the car with her because, you know, it's just her and I. And we would drive here and there, and she'd have it on the radio, Kiss FM, and we'd listen to whatever's popping at that time. So artists, I mean, it could be anywhere from Billy Joel to, I mean, you remember pop radio was different back then. It was actually pop. So anything from Twisted Sister to, and I'm going rock here because I'm Madness, Our House in the Middle of, like all these 80s groups, because that's where I remember it. But then you'd have your like, then I got into hip-hop a little bit later on where the Rapper's Delight started coming out, the LL Cool J's I Need Love. I remember laying in my hallway with my corded phone. Kids, listen to this, corded phones back then. And we had the cord underneath my mom's door, and I was in the hallway and just rapping I Need Love to my girlfriend at the time in 8th grade. And it was all because of that hip-hop music.
Do you know what I did? There was a group called Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I don't know why I gravitated towards them.
It's the first of the month.
There was a girl that I would like, and I'd be on the phone too. You know, corded phone, and I'd rap, you know, first of the month or full of love and the money, because I learned a verse.
So she would say, hey, it's that time of the month, and then you would go right first of the month.
There you go. How did you know? How did you know? Don't give my secrets away.
Ladies, don't hate me. Don't hate me for that.
Did you get in fights at all? As a kid? I mean, no.
I never was the fighter, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, I know how to use my mouth and just kind of like duck behind the homies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it was because, again, it goes back to being, I think, the only child and just being very, very confident until somebody, like, I didn't have a brother or sister to put me in my place. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know, smacked me around a couple times. So, yeah, like, it was like sky's the limit. But, I mean, I learned really quick. You know what I mean? And I remember there was one scenario where it was in middle school, and this guy named Rashawn, right? And he, I forgot how he got in trouble, or somehow we all got in trouble. And he made it a point to point the finger at me and say, hey, man, it was your fault. And if my mom finds out and I'm unable to go to this club, I don't know why he was going to a club in 7th grade, 8th grade, but I guess he was sneaking out. And he said, then, you know, I'm gonna beat your ass when I get to school tomorrow. I was like, damn. So I went home and I was like, man, I was pacing in my room. You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna do? Finally, I just said, hey, man, I got to man up. So, I went to the lunch batch in the morning where we all meet up, got my cookies, you know, my hot cookies in the morning, whatever. I was drinking my chocolate milk, and here he comes. And then he shows up, and, like, he walks up like he's going to do something, and then all of a sudden he just gives me a high five, like, oh, what's good, man? Like he was just faking the funk the whole time.
Yeah.
But
a little bluff.
Like, I knew.
Yeah.
And then here's some other shit you didn't like. Later on that same year, like, cats just really, like, my friends turned on me. They really did. And here goes with, I don't know if it was a mixture of enviness, jealousy, or either my big mouth that got me into trouble. Had to probably be a little bit of all three, I would say.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where one of them had me pinned up to a fence, bro.
Ooh.
One of your friends?
One of my friends.
Friends.
Pinned,
Yeah.
and then all the rest of them were like behind him.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And it was like, hey, so-and-so. Because I had the baddest girlfriend. Like I had, you know what I mean? And
Right.
there was lots to be jealous of. But me, I would never treat the next person disrespectfully. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, I do what I do. You know, I feel I'm confident in what I do. I'm good at what I do. You do what you do. Cool. Let's, let's hang. Let's kick it. But some people were, you're going to get those people in this lifetime, growing up, even to this day. So that's where I had to learn that way who my friends were and who really weren't. You know,
You are one of your gifts is you're witty though. You have a natural wit about you. You have the gift of gab for sure. It's a very natural thing for you.
Yeah, I think that's important, when it comes to like radio. Sometimes I don't make sense and I blurt shit out, but when I do, that's when the funniest shit comes out.
Yeah.
It's true.
So I've been told, and
See, that's the difference between you and I, is that I'm the opposite. See, I'm probably the last witty guy in the room, and it's going to take me a while to connect the dots, if I'm going to do a reply. And every time I think of something, it's always like when I'm going to bed at night, I'm like, shoot, I should have said that.
that's the best time to come up with stuff, but you write it down, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty witty.
You are pretty.
I'm quick with
That's
it.
dope.
Lighter shade of brown. So you and Bobby, where did that begin? Was that where did you meet Bobby?
I met Bobby through our former manager, Cliff Ritchie was our first manager. And at the time, he was trying to work me a solo deal. I was fresh out of high school. Actually, I was still in high school. I was a junior, going to be a senior. And you want the long story? Or you want to like?
Yeah, no. What I want to know is how did you even find the time to develop a career in music while you're in school?
Okay. Well, for starters, I wasn't the best student because here again, my ADD just kept kicking in. Like all I wanted to do, whatever I wanted to do, whatever my dreams were, that's what I wanted to do. You couldn't get me to do anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would be in class literally just writing raps instead of writing notes off the chalkboard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would always get called out for it and whatnot. So the way I met DTX was I was introduced by my former manager, Cliff Ritchie, and who at the time, the reason why I met him was because he was trying to work my solo deal.
Okay.
I was introduced to him from Big Lady K, who was another female artist from Riverside. By the way, shouts to her, man, because she's responsible for my career. She was the first female rapper on Eazy-E's label, Ruthless Records.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Yes, look her up, Big Lady K.
Okay.
So she got transferred to my school, introduced me to my manager, Cliff Ritchie, started doing some demos in my bedroom, no bigger than this. And so come to find out, that same year, Mellow Man Ace was already out with Mentirosa. He came out, I think, in '89. And then Kid Frost came out with La Raza. And then, that was the first, like, Chicano mainstream artist.
Right.
My manager was kind of like, oh, damn, like, I wanted you to be my first dude. So there's where he assembled the group together. Now, my DJ at the time, his name was DJ Fabe Love, right? And he was from Riverside. And Cliff, my manager, had asked him, do you know another rapper from the area who we can connect O with? And he said, yeah, my boy, he's a character. Like, he raps everybody's raps, He's a little clown, he's always, rapping Heavy D raps, Ice-T raps, but he sounds just like them. He's like, could you bring him down and see if we can, collab?
Yeah.
So we did, and that was Bobby, DTX. So we just kind of, his chemistry and my chemistry just clicked, bro. I mean, after we just kind of like smelled each other out like pit bulls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just...
it felt very natural.
It did.
So it was immediate fire. You guys start recording, and how long does it take for you guys to, put out the first album?
Well, because of the wave that had started, we kind of jumped on that wave of the whole Latino wave, which was Frost, Mellow Man Ace, and we were next in line. So labels were jumping at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were like, oh, shit, well, this is working. Mellow Man Ace, he's got a top 10 record here in Billboard. Kid Frost,
right,
same deal. And, well, hell yeah, boom. So it took us about within a year, 1 year to get our record deal. And we ended up signing with an independent. Majors weren't quite looking at us. But we ended up going with the right deal, which was Quality Records. With Russ Regan, he signed us. Same cat who signed Elton John, Barry White back in the day. And then we're like, here comes this rap group. You know what I'm saying? He had greats like that, but he had an eye. He also had an ear, so he believed in us. And
what was that day like when you went to go sign the contract? When you went to get on?
Bro, I wish I remembered.
Yeah,
You don't
Because I would have a lot more money today. Wait, you want to know the feeling I had? Yeah, the feeling was great. I was this kid. Like, come on, bro. I just wanted to be on stage and I wanted to be in the booth.
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah.
care about when you're 16.
Where do I sign?
That's it. Exactly.
Where do I sign?
That's it. And I did. And it was just, okay, man. Well, great. Congratulations. And we'll be recording in the next couple weeks, your album.
Wow.
But it was very surreal.
And you had a lot of trust, obviously, in management because they're taking care of you. Because you're a kid, you don't know the legalities of what you're signing, really.
And on top of business side and also just being a kid, like I would go stay in L.A. at his apartment with Bobby and the crew, and my mom would have to I'm a minor, would have to trust this man. She don't really know
Right.
to go. Can you imagine letting your son go stay at some stranger's house?
Ooh, that's a hard decision.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it all worked out though. But yeah, I had to build some kind of trust, and I believed in him. He was my first manager.
When did you begin to actually feel like I'm a real star? I'm an artist. I have a little bit of cred, a little bit of clout. People are hearing my music. They know me.
I would say by the crowd responses at shows.
Okay.
Because don't get me wrong, like my first time being played on 99.1 KGGI, TJ Knight, shout outs to Harley Davidson, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Harley Davidson.
Old school. There's an old school name. And cats like that and Mark in the Dark would have us on. I know we had Bump It or Dump It. He's called it Pump It or Dump It back in the day.
Yeah.
And dude, the feeling that we would get just to like, you would hear the listeners call up, bump it, woo, bump it, bump it.
I
And we were
remember
just
that.
like, once our song started here in our backyard and it started growing, and my manager would call me, hey man, we got this station in Phoenix. Hey, we got this station in the Bay Area. We got this station. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? No, they're playing your record. Okay, that's awesome. And back then there wasn't a way of like listening to internet radio. I couldn't log on and hear them play it. I would just have to be word of mouth, like that's dope. But it wasn't until we got on stage and we started touring, and people started coming up, hey man, I love your music, I love your song. And I'm like, yeah, when'd you hear it? Wait, we heard it last night, blah blah blah. Will you sign this? And that's when when people are out there singing your lyrics, putting their hands in the air, and it's dope. Coming to the meet and greets, we just soaked it all up, man.
Did you get recognized walking at stores, shopping, whatever,
after the videos?
restaurants?
Yeah, after the videos would drop, on the box. I don't know if you guys remember the box. That was where you had to call up and freaking order a video, and it would play on your TV
right.
at home, right?
Right.
And then you would run up your mom and dad's credit card bills.
Yep.
And they wouldn't even, because that thing can go up higher, high and high. It's kind of like back then, like the Alexa now. Hey Alexa, buy some more cups. Like your kid can easily do that. But it was the same thing. So, but yeah. Once our videos were on there, because MTV really didn't get to our videos until later on. They were like the last. Like we had to show Improve, which was understandable. And then BET came along, and then MTV Raps.
In your mindset, were you ever not nervous, but what did you feel like when you went on stage for the first time as an act, as a duo?
Our first show was at Bazooti's downtown Riverside, man, and we were opening up for Bobby Ross Avila, straight out of IE.
Wow,
Shout out to Ross.
yeah.
And of course, it was like half the crowd was most of our friends from high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just showing their support, which was really dope. And it was just a fun moment. But outside of that, like our biggest show, our highlight in the beginning was probably the Anaheim Celebrity Theater in Orange County. We opened up for Vanilla Ice.
Wow.
And CNC Music Factory.
Woo, woo.
And I remember it was that revolving stage. It would turn, right? And it would just, you'd be playing to the crowd. But that was so memorable. I was like, wow, we made it. In fact, we were so excited that we had dance moves at the time with the management. So we had left our former manager, so I said, and then we went with another manager, and he made us put on these like Century 21 suits. Like it was big back then. He wanted to turn us into this pop dance group, and we had dance moves and everything. Well, we were so busy dancing, we were lip syncing, and we pulled our mic back, and our vocals were still going. So of course, who came to who dogged us the next morning was the OC Register newspaper.
They don't really know how to sing.
You were lip syncing, and
yeah, it was all the negative, so. but we learned.
That's how you know you made it, when people are talking trash
Right.
and they're saying good
Right.
stuff.
Amen to
That's
that.
how you know you made it.
Kind of like Radio Flyer hitting us up and telling us not to use their name.
Yeah, now that we got a cease and desist letter,
Pretty much.
that means we're cool now.
Right.
That means we're that important.
Don't worry, soon they'll be on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Hey, but that night though was, I mean, it has to be. I don't think a lot of people can really understand the energy that you feel,
Right.
not just being there watching a show, but as an artist performing and getting the crowd back to you, especially when it's one of your first big nights like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it happened so quickly. You know, we were only
Yeah.
allowed 10 minutes, but that went by like 2
No,
minutes.
yeah, that's still
Yeah.
great. And Vanilla Ice and it was
CNC Music Factory. Yeah.
And so were you able to actually talk to Vanilla Ice and CNC Music Factory?
We were actually, because after the show, there's a media room in the backstage
Yeah,
where
yeah.
all the artists go, and they go with the jocks and whatnot. And Kiss FM was actually there, and they were hanging out, some of the older jocks, and Vanilla was just taking pictures, and I was a fan. Obviously, the dude was like really super hot at the time, blowing up, and I got in line to take a picture with him,
Yeah.
at my own
I
show,
would
but I was
too,
cool
yeah.
with it. I was like, hey,
Yep.
he was cool. I was like, hey, man. And I just remember him just saying, hey, man, hey, good stuff tonight. And I was like, hey, he made a comment about the show. Whether he saw it or not, I don't even know. But still, for him to say that was memorable. I'm talking about it today. So
Have you ever had a crazy fan encounter where like, you're at the hotel, you're just doing your thing, just taking the shower before you got to get on stage.
here we
you come
go.
out.
Here
knock,
we go.
knock, 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 knock.
Wait, scroll
Security.
to
And the reason why I asked,
5:50 in the interview. You want to hear the juiciness?
There's a reason he asked.
the reason why I ask is because, I've had just regular radio people who have never been on tour before who have the craziest fan encounter stories. So for you, who's a radio person but has also been on tour,
Right.
there's got to be something.
Oh man. I don't. How can I say this without getting in trouble? Well, it was before I was married.
Yeah, this is before that. Before that. Way back in the day.
I would say I remember one time we were doing a meet and greet, and this was in Arizona, and we were coming out the limo, and it was line wrapped around the back then the record stores where you'd line up, and I mean, they still do. I don't know how many record stores there still are, but back then it was around the building, and we got off, and we had to go through the front entrance. Why? I don't know. Maybe that was the only entrance in instead of the back. So there was 2 lines. You had left side, right side, and they had to pave the way. So we were walking through, and I remember, not to me, but this young girl latched out at DWTX, my partner, and grabbed and ripped off his chain.
Ooh.
Boy, he went from smiling to frowning. Like he was hot after
Yeah.
that. Like it was just at that point. It was little stuff like that. Of course, besides all the hotel lobby stuff, after the show, we would tend to like get a little loose at the lips on stage right before our show ended. Yeah, man, after party, Holiday Inn,
We're
room
staying
234,
here.
we're staying here. And literally, if I didn't do it, another artist would do it, another group would do it, and everybody literally would be in the freaking
at the
hotel
time,
lobby.
at the time, I'd be like, "Thank you, thank you." I didn't want to be the one to say it, but thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's funny because producer Ruben was on a date, and he took her to a Manon concert.
Okay.
At the Forum in Inglewood, and I'm not sure what happened, Michelle, but if you can remember, help me with the story. But apparently, she was like front row. Oh, because they had backstage passes.
They had backstage
So they
passes.
did the meet and greet backstage. Long story short, I think the drummer. I don't mean to call out one of the guys from
Yeah.
Manon, but it wasn't the lead singer.
It wasn't
And-
the lead singer. I know which one it was, and they were flirting with his date.
Yeah.
And ended up inviting her back to a
Don't tell me
show.
Ruben went home solo that night.
No, it kind of went down that way.
Well, Ruben took himself to dinner to wait it out, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
to wait it out
But
because he gave her ticket, or like, you come over here to this
yeah.
private event that we're
Right.
having.
But he gave her a warning. He said, okay, but listen, just giving you a warning. You're probably not going to be the only girl there.
Right.
And she said, no, listen.
likes me.
He gave me his personal phone number. He said, call me when you get it, whatever.
Yep.
Right.
She shows up. Long story short, obviously there's like 25 girls in there.
Yeah.
And she starts, she gets upset and calls Ruben, and Ruben comes
Starts
as a nice
texting
guy.
away,
and,
yeah.
A nice guy, he
pick her
comes
up.
to
But
rescue her.
That's what I can only imagine. I go, even being a radio DJ, even at 99.1, I've had wild times, hosting the club, Margarita Beach.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I had a great time. And even in the smallest, lowest of the totem pole way, I felt like a celebrity here in the IE, just being on the radio. But when as a young kid, because you're a kid,
Right.
at the time, When
I'm
did
still a man child, by the way.
Aren't
We
all?
believe it.
When did it feel like it was too much? Or you felt like, oh my God, I'm a true rock star. This is nuts. This is crazy.
It happened when we started doing TV appearances. So like we were getting calls from Paul Rodriguez, you know what I'm saying? Los Angeles al Dia. We were doing morning shows in Spanish, and mind you, we didn't really speak fluent Spanish, so that was experience in itself.
You and Bobby, obviously, you guys were close. You guys saw a lot together. You guys went places together. You guys had a bond, right? I mean, you guys were very close.
Yeah.
Were you guys like best friends? I mean, what was that like?
I would never say best friends.
Right.
Okay. I wouldn't. I would say more so like brothers who fought. You know what I'm saying? We had that love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
And it's because we were put together. Now, mind you, we didn't grow up in the same neighborhood. We didn't grow up together through high school. We didn't come up together, as they would say. And so we had a lot of differences. Our age made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's my older, younger brother, I always say, because he was 4 years older than me.
Okay.
And, you know, so he lived experienced a little bit more. But we definitely had our differences, and I think every group does.
Yeah.
So we weren't the best of friends, but we were like brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like? I see a lot of these groups and bands, and you know, some of them who've stayed together for such a long time, and it's crazy. It's almost like I see them, and I'm trying to decipher from it as a fan, and I see them, and I'm like, even if you dislike the person or absolutely hate them, you have learned a way to not only cope, but just go along with it, because it's not just about the relationship, but it's the business. It's the business that you're in. And this is, to a true professional, is going to make it work somehow after this long.
You know? That is a great point.
You adapt. You
You
get
have
used
to.
to each other.
Absolutely. I mean, and especially when that money rolls in, you're like, okay, I know why I'm doing this for. And now even more so because I have a family now, which we'll probably get into a little bit. But back then it was just, man, I was young, wild, and free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with him it was just, we both had egos. You know what I'm saying? You can imagine, we're these kids. You know what I mean? We got hit records on the radio. We're touring. We got girls. We got money. We got all the above that comes with it.
What I want to know is, what kind of interviewee were you back in the day? So if I were to interview ODM, like, you know, 17-year-old ODM, what kind of kid would you be?
You want to know? I was a mocoso, bro. I was a travieso. Like, I would seriously. So back in the day, they had, you know, regular telephones, landline phones, and you know, I would be that guy on your side, wherever the DJ's phone was, the request line, as they say it. I would be on the request line, sitting there. Instead of interviewing or in between commercials, like obviously I would sit down and interview, but in between commercials, I was trying to get girls. Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up, girl? Come to the show. Come to the show. Oh, what's your name?
Come down.
Hey, that's the type of person I was off air. But as far as the interview, man, I was spot on, bro. Like, I would rap. Like, literally, we would rap. They don't do that no more. Like, where artists will rap over the song. I think that's the coolest thing, when the DJ plays your song. All right, we're going to get into this. We're going to come back and talk with so-and-so.
Yeah.
Nah, man, leave that mic hot. Let's rap over it.
Yeah.
Do a live version, and the DJs would record it,
Yep.
and then they play the live version later on in their show another day.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Was the first single On a Sunday Afternoon, or was it Lighter Shade of Brown's first single? What was it?
Okay, first single was TJ Nights, and then
Got you.
then it went into Latin Active, and then we dropped Sunday
Latin
Afternoon.
Active.
Okay.
Latin Activity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait.
I remember every single one of them.
Okay, see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? See how it just turns on? Hey.
Now, when you were doing this, everybody's knowing your songs. Everyone's knowing the lyrics.
Yeah.
They're rapping back to you as you go. That's got to be a freaking amazing feeling.
For sure, dude. Like, no matter what. And there's where we always would put the mic into the crowd and let them rap our lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays I do it because I can't remember my lyrics, but...
Is that why artists have those
Comes with the
TVs on the
time.
stage?
Teleprompter.
Snoop Dogg has a he has big screens, dude.
Yeah, a lot of
Like,
artists have that nowadays.
But he's got way too many songs. Like, I get it.
Yeah, how do you memorize every single one of them?
It's tough, man. Especially, I mean, obviously the singles I know, you know, the main hits.
Yeah.
But when you ask me to do a 45-minute show and you want me to go into the B-sides, you know, like the album song single, I'm like, that's gonna be kind of tough, man. So you find a hype guy that knows all your lyrics so that can fill in for you. That's what you do.
The world is different now, and I want to talk about you going on tour now, because you have a lot of new stuff that I want to talk about. Before we get there, though,
Okay.
Was there any artists that was on your bucket list? Like, okay, I'm in the music scene now. I want to meet this guy. I want to meet her. I want to meet this group. And
Well, it always been a childhood favorite. My childhood favorite growing up, and the reason why I started just battle rapping was my artists were Rakim and Big Daddy Kane.
That's awesome. Yep.
Aside of LL Cool J and Ice Cube, NWA, and all those, the Eazy's, but I mean, it was those two rappers that really got me into my battle rhyming and my schemes, bro. So if I could meet them one day, and it took years for me I would meet, dude. I mean, I'm touring with the greats. I'm, Salt and Pepper, Tupac, Gangstar, Guru, every hip hop, De La Soul, like that whole 90s hip hop movement.
Did you get to meet Tupac at all?
You want to hear my Tupac story?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to hear it.
Bro, so long story short, I just posted this up, matter of fact, but we met him. It was a show in Seattle, Washington. And it was one of those summer jam shows, when they do like 20, 30 acts,
right
back in the day.
Yep.
And you'd be out there sweating your ass off. And but it was dope back then, and all your favorite artists would be on that stage. So we were backstage hanging out, and it was at the end of the show. And I remember Pac was closing out the show, and he had a live band, right?
That's awesome.
He had just dropped Poetic Justice, just came out in theaters with Janet Jackson.
It's awesome, yes.
And
Great movie.
I just happened to be wearing a Poetic Justice hat that day.
I wonder why.
So
Well done, O.
Here we go. So I'm like, all right. So he comes off stage, and we're in a circle. It's me, Bobby, Gangstar, Guru from Gangstar, Far Side, and we're in a circle just chilling, and we're just chopping it up backstage. And then Pac comes off stage, and finally he walks up to us in the circle. And we're like, hey, what's good, man? Where the weed at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I remember him saying. And then Bobby reaches in his pocket, goes, I got you right here. Hey. So he pulls out one of these little film canisters. Remember the little film? You put your film.
That's
in
where
the
everybody
one?
used to put their weed
Yeah.
at.
That was where it was at.
That was it. You put it in one of those.
So old school.
And Bobby would always do that. I smell like, damn. So yeah, you put it in there, and he busted out one of those. Man, just started, smoking weed with Pac.
You got to smoke out with Pac.
Wow.
He smoked. I wish to this day I don't smoke.
Yeah.
But that day I wish I did, and then I was actually able to get my hat signed by Pac, which was great, man.
Oh my
Don't ask me where that hat's at.
gosh. Oh, you should have.
Fail.
You should have hung it up.
I don't
put it
know.
in a case.
But you
Kept it for
You know,
made a-
Michelle, I've always been known for that, to not save shit like that. Yeah, Eazy-E, same thing. He signed my hat at 13 years old.
Where did you meet Eazy-E at?
Not Sperry Farm.
Oh
What?
my gosh.
No kidding. Was this by
Of all places.
accident, or was this?
Accident. I was 13, literally. We used to go to this spot called Studio K, and they had it in Knott's Berry Farm, and the park would shut down and like around 5, and they reopened at 7. So it was like a little disco. It was right by Montezuma's Revenge. So if
Okay.
you know that area,
Yeah.
there was a little dance hall there, and we'd go out there, and Eazy showed up with his 2 bodyguards, and I was like, whoa. I told my homie, there's Eazy, dude. And he was like, hey, man, go up to him, see what's up. I was like, all right. So I went up, and then his bodyguard stopped me, and he was like, hey, no autograph. I just, hey, man. I go, yo, E. So I yelled, hey, E, bro, can you sign my hat, man? When you're going to get a chance? He was like, yeah, man, I got you, man. I'm just chilling right now. I was like, what? I gave me that whole thing. I was like, all right, cool. I'll be waiting over here. So I'm just sitting there the whole time mesmerized. Long story short, he ends up leaving the spot. And I'm like, I didn't want to bother him again. But I was all bummed out. My boy was like, man, you should have did. I was like, man, I didn't want to. I go, yeah, should have, would have, could have. So later on in the day or the night, I see him walking with his wife.
You see him? I see you.
I see you.
I wasn't following. It
Remember
just
me?
happened by fate.
Remember me?
It just did. Oh, watch, it gets good. So finally, we're sitting there on one of those planners, and I go, man, my boy goes, there's your chance, bro. There he is. He's by himself with his wife, no bodyguards. And they're just chilling. They got like stuffed animals that he had won, whatever. So I said, yo, E. Here, a little tone in my voice this time. I go, yo, hey, you said you're going to sign my hat. but it was a little bit higher pitched because I was like 13.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you said you're going to sign my hat. He was like, he looked at me, and he goes, hold up. Told his wife. Handed his stuffed animals to his wife so he can hold.
Yeah.
Came over with me, sat down next to the planner. He had a pen, okay? Not a marker, a pen. So
Right.
now when you sign an autograph with a pen, picture this on a hat, you have to trace over it in order to really see it.
Right.
You have to go over it a couple times. And he sat there and he took they must have took like 5 minutes just to sign. Said to what was my name at the time? It was Little G, Big Daddy G, or something like that, something crazy. And he signed it and he said, from Easy motherfucking E.
Yeah, that's how
Epic.
we always signed.
That's
Epic.
it. And I was like, yo, I
were
go,
like,
this is so cool, dude. Yeah, until I got
Until he
home,
lost it.
or we moved out this way. I don't know. I always get shit for it. But I'm sorry. Can I cuss? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get to on radio when I'm on
Yeah.
the air. So shit. But that's how I felt. I was like, shit, motherfucker, shit. Like I lost it. And then yeah, man. But that was my experience with EZ.
That's amazing.
You met Tupac. You met Eazy-E. You met some of the greatest hip hop artists of all time.
Yeah.
Did you feel the greatness while you were around them? Did you feel the
Did I feel the
presence?
vibes? Did I get the vibes? It was just, when you meet somebody in person, after the whole starstruck thing goes away, you're just like, man, they just like me. They just a regular person.
Yeah.
Like if they act that way. I never met anybody that was I can't say, except one time. He wasn't an artist, DICK, and that was what was his name? Steven Seagal.
Oh, was he an asshole?
Yeah, bro. I caught
Okay.
him coming out of a hotel one day. I was coming out, getting my car. He was getting out of his car. Maybe because he was in a hurry, but he just gave you that Steven Seagal look,
Yeah.
like that badass. I'll
Yeah.
whip your ass if you come up to me.
You're
Look,
like-
yeah, but he was like,
Like, bro, Under Siege wasn't that great. Come on.
but it was like, all right, man. No, he told me no. He said no,
Yeah.
man. He goes, I'm kind of busy right now. Or I was like, all right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Talking
Yeah.
radio flyer later on.
that's it.
I'll remember.
remember
You know,
that.
it's so fun.
Where
Everyone,
you at now? Not
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
I have a question because we're talking about first impressions and all that.
Hey.
And I don't expect you to remember me way back then, but I have a funny thing
Careful
I
now.
want you to talk
Careful
about.
now.
No,
Don't be bringing up my past, bro.
I am, but it's a good thing.
Okay, good.
Tell me a little bit about Fontana and visiting there in Southridge in Fontana at DJ Jam and James's house.
Ooh.
Because fun fact, guess who lived across the street?
Who?
From DJ Jam and James?
Who?
Me.
Didn't we have this conversation before?
Yeah, we did. And I remember you and Bobby came over.
Yeah.
Because it was when your albums literally were just dropping. And
Okay.
my sister Lorraine and I walk outside, and James would always be like, hey, they're coming over, they're coming by. He was
Yeah.
always really cool about that. And we were like, me and my sister were like, we were like, oh my God. We were excited.
Right.
We would go out there, and you guys were real cool, just like, oh, hello.
Good. You caught us on a good day. then. Cool.
No, you guys were really, and that's what I'm saying about first impression,
Yeah.
because that was really cool. You were always cool, like, oh, this is your friends from the block. And we were little girl. We were young.
Right,
My
right,
sister's
right.
closer to age than you are, I think, but we were young. You were young.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like a cool thing. And he used to give us all your albums all the time. I don't know if you knew that. I had all of them. He would always give them to me.
You know what? I was wondering why you requested more tapes from the record label. I was
Yeah.
like, you go over here giving away. No, it was all good, man. I mean,
He would bring
promotional.
them across the street.
That's lovely. James, shout out to Jam and James, dude. That's like our producer he produced Sunday Afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
He produced Homies. Like some of our biggest hits,
Wow.
bro. Jam and
And
James.
you,
Such
and
a
you, you
nice
were his
guy.
you were his neighbor.
Yeah, I have him on Facebook and Instagram
Yeah.
and stuff
No
now.
kidding.
So he'll still once in a while be like, "Hey James, happy birthday!" or "How's this person?"
You know
or
what we
"How's
should
this
have done?
person?"
That would have been cool. We should have had him on the phone and
I
surprised.
know.
Oh, like,
I could
hey.
have done that.
Next time.
I
We'll-
know.
Act surprise next time.
Yeah.
DJ Jam and James, man.
So Bobby was young when he passed away, right?
Yes.
So I don't know the story. So how did he pass away, or what happened? I mean, was it?
He passed in Vegas. He had a
It was recent.
Yeah, it was in 2016, and he had been in Vegas. He had been drinking. He was on the boulevard. I don't know if it was the main strip there, but he ended up either passing out. Honestly, bro, I still don't know the full story because he was by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had got to him, he was already out flat on the pavement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So either he was so dehydrated, you can imagine this is mid summer in Vegas, drunk out there, he just flat out on the pavement, mind you, I can't even talk, face down on the pavement, dude, is where they found him, because I'm like, it sucks to tell the story. It's how they found him, and just, and they brought him in, as a John Doe. Like, he didn't have a wallet on him or nothing like that. And the way they found him, or they were able to contact us, was he had his cell phone on him, and it wasn't charged. Well, they were going to just still tag him as a John Doe and do whatever they're going to do with him. But one nurse at the hospital decided to charge his phone. And thank God he didn't have a passcode on his phone. So they were able to get to his contacts. And there's where he found his mother's, or that said mom. And they were able, if it hadn't been for that,
Right.
who knows what would have happened. But yeah, man, Bobby suffered some, he was going through it, man, throughout the years. He had some inner demons, that he was battling with, and everybody has their, stuff.
Everybody does
inside
everybody
the closet
does.
there.
Yeah.
So he was battling, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to, to come out of it. And I think obviously mental, mental. What's the word I'm looking for? When you're in a mental state to where you need help, mental.
Yeah.
You call. There's hotlines out there for that. I mean, you hear it every day. Please do, because a friend's not going to help you. A parent's not going to help you.
Right.
Your wife won't even help you. It's got to, honestly, prayer works, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it really does. I mean, we've all come out of depression. So I've been in my lowest, you know what I mean? And I know that I turned to, my Savior, and it definitely helped me out of that. But if you need it, you should call definitely a hotline and get some help, because it's a serious thing.
That resonates so deeply. But man, like I said, I'm happy that you're here to talk, because there's so much we should have been talking about for a while, and now that you're here, let's do it. So
let's get it.
99.1 KGGI. You're hot off a lighter shade of brown. Did you have in your mind you wanted to do radio? How did you get into the radio world?
Well, I remember touring, going back to the days, being that kid, getting on the request lines, playing around. But aside of that, I would watch the DJ on the other side just run the board. And it was just so amazing. I was fascinated by it. Just like, wow, like here he's playing my song for 3 minutes, but he's on the air for 4 hours. To me, in my mind, it was like, that was dope. It's a stage, but you don't have your audience, you can't see, but they can hear you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
He's like flying a spaceship. There's a board.
Exactly. A big spaceship, dude. And you're going, wow. And growing up, it was funny. It was either that, or what also fascinated me was bartending.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
you
were a bartender?
I wasn't, but I think it's the coolest thing ever.
I do too.
Right? Because you see guys now, they're doing, especially with the tricks and this and that, but just, I think serving somebody and either putting a smile on their face or just making them happy. You know what I mean? Being a barber, same thing. Like, it's just, the feeling you leave getting your hair done, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just making people feel good. And I think that's what it is for me.
I think if I was a bartender, I'd probably never settle down. I don't think I would. It would be bad. It would be all bad.
Really?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Way too much fun.
Could I guess, because I don't know the story, but could I guess, was Jesse Duran the man who brought you to 99.1?
Yeah. So, all right, continuing on. So years later, I finally came across that path. I was producing, doing beats in my living room for about maybe 4 years. And I went on this production thing because Bobby and I, our DWT, we had split up. And it actually happened at the right time. So Ant Dog, if you remember, Ant Dog used to hear local on 99.1, invited me down to come to one of his radio spots. He was doing a call-in, as they would say. A call-in, for those that don't know, would show up at a Papa John's Pizza or something like that, call into the radio station. I'm over here, come pick up your free prizes. Well, he was doing that. He invited me to come down, bring some CDs and posters, the whole nine. So I showed up, with the homie, with my posters and hand CDs, and he handed me the phone, and I remember it was those Motorola phones, the flip phones, the ones you would chip, you know what I mean, and jailbreak. So you get it. I was like, hey, what's up, dude? I go, hey, Jesse. It was Jesse Duran. Hey, ODM, we're gonna go on radio right now, and just tell everybody where you're at. They can find. Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, Jesse? It's ODM right here. I'm on the corner of just doing all the what you would do as a radio jock on the streets, and man, Jesse shows up literally like 20 minutes later.
Oh, wow.
Because it was right down the station. It was at the Papa John's off University. And
so it really was a Papa John's.
It was really a Papa John's.
Just making sure.
Yeah, first thing that came to mind. I had that prepped already. And he pulls up, and he goes, hey, ODM, what's going on? With Jesse Duran voice. All right. So, hey, that was pretty good what you did on the radio, man. Remember you told me 5 years ago, you saw seeing yourself in radio, because he had interviewed me 5 years prior. He goes, you want a shot at it? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? So he invited me over. I sat on the show for a whole week, learned the board and whatnot, and then he stuck me on weekends doing the DJ Linwood show. And there's where I was groomed by this cat named Jason. He was there doing the overnights. Shout out to Jason, because he helped me out a lot on the boards, him and Ant Dog. It was either him or Ant Dog, and there's where it started, man, to end of 1999.
And your first full-time shift, was it the night shift?
It was the night shift in 2000. 6 months later, I think I got that. I did like maybe 6 months of the overnight shift, 12 to 6. Shout outs to the strippers at over there at Club 215 where I go get my coffee before I started my shift.
Club 215.
They would pump me up.
You would get your coffee there?
Right off the 215, right off the 215 freeway. Don't ask me how I know that.
Was the coffee good?
If you know, you know. It was. Hot cafecito. Show.
Don't even get me started with the stories of 99.1. I tell you.
Show.
I've heard a lot of them. Don't worry.
You know what I'm saying?
ODM's night show, the 6 to midnight or 6 to 10, whatever it was, that was such a prominent and long running and talked about show.
Yep.
It was, for me, as a radio fan before I got into radio to be a personality, to me there was 2 night shows that existed in the world. There was JoJo on the radio and there's ODM. Yep. 2 different worlds, 2 different sounds, but they were both top notch.
That's dope. Thank you.
I always wanted to do a night show because of that, because I always thought they had the most fun and they were the coolest. I would love to do a show like ODM and JoJo one day, and that's why I was always gravitated towards nights.
I remember when I got to KISS and I started doing that in the building. I don't know if it might have been before, and Freddie comes over. I think it was Froggy at the time. Oh, am I allowed to bring that up? Leave that in, Freddie. Leave that in, Freddie. He shoots me the CD.
That's gonna be. Hold on, I gotta put it in the
we're not there yet?
I'm gonna put that in ODM's voice. Leave it in, Freddie.
Leave it in, Freddie.
Be careful where you play that.
Careful how you say it.
Things are gonna get twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Don't smile too much.
Right. But he showed me this blank CD and it had his it was written in green Sharpie of all things, and it said DJ Froggy, but I was so amazed because it was like, dude, what you put together, dude, out of your home, and I couldn't believe you did that at that time to have something like that, a demo like now, it's easy technology, but back then for what you did, bro, I think I told you, bro, this is dope. Like you did it, he had callers on there and everything, and he was made it seem like a real live radio show. And I thought that was so dope, man.
I wanted to thank you, O. And I want to shout out my dad because he helped me put together the studio. I want to shout out producer Ruben because he was there back in the day.
Yeah.
He would do half my calls if it wasn't Michelle Zuno.
All the time.
And it's the same crew that's still around me to this day. So a big thank you to them. What did you love most about doing radio?
I think radio shares the same similarities with being an artist. Again, I'm not in front of a crowd, but I am. You know what I'm saying? People are listening, and it's me trying to just hype them up, whether they're on their way to work or putting a smile if they're having it. I don't know who I'm touching, verbally. You know what I'm saying? But my thing was just to give the best personality of who I am, because a lot of jocks put on this fake, hey, what's going, and it's like, dude, you didn't sound like that off air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just me. You know what I mean? And what you see is what you get. So I think just with just the gratitude I got with the calls, and I had to go through some trial and error, bro. Like in the beginning, I remember. Like when I first got on, I thought I was on stage. It's like, yo, what's up? It's ODM 99.1 KGGI. I mean, which the remainder of my show was like that, but it was toned down a little bit. It's funny. Yeah, just like that. I had a girl call me up, say, ODM, baby. We love you. This is Mika from San Bernardino, baby. But you had a 5. Like, baby, just tone it down a little bit.
That's
like,
hilarious.
You're yelling at us. You're yelling at us.
You got air checked by a listener.
By a female from San Bernardino.
That's
Shout out to
great.
Mika. Yeah. And it checked me, and I took it, as constructive criticism. I said,
sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I learned, and I accepted it, and I learned how to rock this mic. You know what I'm saying? But that, I think the fans or listeners, as we call them, were the reasons why, they support me by listening. So I got to give them.
Jesse Duran was a good coach.
Yes.
He was great. But you know what? There's a common denominator. Every guest that we have here on Radio Flyer, they always somehow go back to, well, Jesse Duran discovered me. KC, Jesse Duran discovered me at GameWorks.
Right.
Jomo. Jesse carried me over from working with Art LeBeau. It's just been there's talent scouts who are really good at what they do. And Jesse Duran is one of them.
Great.
So you're doing mornings now. You're an official morning guy. Your alarm clock is going off probably when I'm going to sleep.
I got 3 snooze buttons.
So first of all, congratulations on being best day part in radio.
Oh, thank you.
You're waking up the IE.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you first of all, what was the transition like waking up early? Because
Woo! You asking a night guy who did nights for like so many years. Well, mind you, there was a period of time where I did afternoons. So I did afternoons for about maybe 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, and that's when I was doing nights. I was right after you, which is so freaking cool.
Love that shift. I love just the fact because it was my time. I go to bed late and wake up late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Get to work at 2.
And you could have a life.
Right.
And so, anyways, I made the transition to mornings about 3 years ago. How long have I been doing it? Since 2018, I believe. Maybe even end of 2017. So almost 4 years. And yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but I was up for it. I says, I'm at the point in my life, my career, where I think I'm ready to take on this morning show thing. I mean, I've done everything else, except middays, but I think mornings is where every jock wants to be. That's their dream. That's their goal. So at the time, Rob Scorpio was our program director, and he gave me a shot. He said, "Look, I'm gonna put you with Evelyn, who's been in the morning show since." That was her only, she's like, she's been there since forever and a day.
Yeah.
And so I joined forces with her, and she kind of taught me the ropes. And it was a big different animal than nights, obviously, and everything's more constructed in the mornings and short timing, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because morning shows are supposed to be long-winded breaks and talking and shooting it, but it's just radio so
it's very different. But see, you're doing the smart thing. You got your podcast.
I do.
Yeah, and you have the YouTube channel going.
Yeah,
I do.
And you're kind of all over the place now.
I am. I'm like the jack of all trades, master of none, as I call myself.
How's the YouTube channel?
It's great, man.
Yeah.
We've been doing it. My wife and I, our family YouTube channel. We started in 2017, and we kind of been stagnant at 56,000 subscribers, which I'm pretty proud of still.
Pretty good.
That's awesome.
Some have, grown quicker than us, but everybody goes at their own pace. But we love our subscribers, and we love filming. I love, the best thing about it is I get to see my children, it's memories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's something that we can always look back on, if anything.
Yeah, that's wonderful then
You know
for
what I
them to
mean?
be able to look back on later, because you do a lot of family stuff on there.
Absolutely. And especially, we had some trying times last year with the pandemic because of, we couldn't go anywhere.
Of course.
So it's like, what do we do? So it was like, let's get a green screen.
Yeah.
Let's start, acting like we're at Disneyland. So we put rides in the background and
that's
whatnot.
hilarious.
It was cool. Me and my wife, we do these twists and turns, and it was really cool. And I think now that our family's grown, because we just had our daughter, Amaya, 10 months ago, I think that was the best thing that came out of the pandemic, and it's just more footage.
Congratulations!
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Amaya, I love the name because yeah,
the story behind it.
Yes. Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a really cool lounge. It was like a restaurant, lounge, and nightclub that I got to host for a short while, but it was really nice. It was in the Riverside Shopping Center. There was what shopping center was that? It was
Tyler Mall.
I remember that was the night you guys at least rekindled or reignited something.
That's the first night I got her phone number. You know what I'm saying? I already had her on Instagram, the whole family's. But I was actually DJing that night.
Oh, you were. That's
I was
right.
DJing.
Yeah.
You were hosting.
That's right.
I think
That's
I've been
right.
there before.
And it was a little sushi spot.
I know.
Right
I think
there.
I might have been there
It
before.
lasted. Great bar service. Shout outs to the bartender. Was it? I can't remember her name. Why would I even bring her
was
up?
it
I can't
Becca?
remember. Becca.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, bro.
No.
Yeah, she passed not too long ago. Sorry to bring that one up. But yeah, she was a great soul, great friend. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
she had energy. I mean, her energy was
so dope.
It was
And a heavy hand.
yeah, it was great. It was
She
great.
should be.
Man, she was so sweet. Yes, so sweet. So yeah, but you were DJing that night.
I was. And my wife comes down, and the reason why she was there, Drake was her keyword to show up, because I had Drake tickets. And I invited her down on Instagram because her Darlene they were at a wedding. And I says, any candidates there? And Darlene pointed up at my wife. And it said her. I said, all right, we'll come down.
Yeah.
And then my wife hit me, and she was like, I like Drake. Because she knew I was bringing out. I was like, whatever gets you down here, girl. Like,
Okay,
come on.
I got Drake tickets for you.
So she shows up, and the first person she sees, this is what my wife and I were just talking about it right now before I came here. Seriously, Well, I always remember this because it happened at Amaya. And she was like, yeah, I remember going up to the door and some guy comes over and I asked him, hey, is ODM and here? And you were like, and Freddie was like, yeah. She goes, oh, who are you? And then he goes, hey, I'm Freddie Rivera. She was like, that was awkward. I never met somebody who said their first and last name together because she hadn't heard you on the radio yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she really.
If you would have said Freddie, nobody would have known.
Yeah,
If you say Freddie Rivera, people know who you are.
And she was like blown back, like, okay, how you doing? I'm Vanessa Mejia. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's awesome.
that was so funny. But yeah, she ended up coming in and we exchanged numbers, and yeah, from that point on, we just continued.
That was a great little run.
Amaya, bro, and there's where our baby's name came from.
I love
Yeah.
that.
That's awesome.
Oh, and that's a beautiful name.
Yes, thank
It really
you.
is a beautiful name, yeah.
We spell it a little bit different. It's
Okay.
AMIYAH. Every one of our kids has AH at the end of it. So it's
Okay.
Amaya, Elijah, and Layla. Man, that's crazy, bro. Having babies in my 40s.
Hey, it happens.
We can shoot them out though, bro.
Not to me,
Hey,
but
you know what? Look,
other people know.
All my homies' friends are like, kids are all grown up. They're already grand.
My son just graduated last week.
That's where I'm at.
let's not forget we're only children. We live our own life. We live
You do.
our own rules, our own timeline.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely do.
Amen to that.
I see that you got a new song out, and then you got. I feel like are you coming back to a tour? What do we got? Oh, what's coming up in 2021, 2022 as far as the music?
Well, I teamed up with a local record label here, Industry Music Group, and a shout out to DJ Cazell, and he had started this label. The Soldie's label is what he's called it. Soldie's Soul and Oldies. So together, this whole term, and he came up with this. And he started doing a lot of this modernized, like oldies, from back in the day sound, which has come back. Yeah. You know what I mean? With the Bruno Marses, whatnot,
Yeah,
the
I
Mayor
love it.
Hawthorns and whatnot. And so that sound is so big. But I had just reached out to him and I said, hey, boss, I got some music I'm doing, man. Like, it's, as I know, it's hard to do anything by yourself. You need to have some kind of team. And I wasn't even going to him for that. I was just going because he was the plug for 45 Records because they're starting to make vinyl now. And he was like, oh, what are you trying to do? And I says, well, I'm just trying to put out, music on vinyl, bro. He says, come over, man. Let's sit down. I might have an opportunity for you. We sat, we linked, everything worked out. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, we put together our first single, and it's called Summer Souldie. It's with a lovely female by the name of Mariah Avila. She's also a Souldie singer, and she's got a beautiful voice. And it's produced by legendary DJ Tony G.
This is going to be the first time that Michelle and I hear it together.
Yeah.
And do you want to introduce it? Or should I just play it? Because I feel like
let's get it. It's got an 8-bar intro. I want you to do it, DJ.
All right.
Summer Souldie, Lighter Shade of Brown featuring Mariah Avila.
Okay.
And go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got ODM live. First time, and I'm happy I get to play the record. Summer Souldie, ODM.
Radio Flyer. Hey.
I'm ready, going out on a summer night.
Family time, who's ready?
My baby and me.
As the sunrise shines, I'm laid back like a
Souldie, top down. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Let's go.
And the streets are wide out. Got wifey on the side as I go through the motions. I send a group text to the homies. See me dipping, low riders do it slowly. I'm at the carniceria. Buy a few pounds cause asada es vida. And you already know it's Modelo time, homie, as I head through the door. Pop the trunk and pack up the cooler. Back on the streets as I throw on the intruders. Cause my life is just not the same.
And now my whole world is
Been rearranged. And I ain't new to this game. That's why I don't trip on the fame or no lames. See, it's all about drifting on the memory. Our time is temporary and I hope that you'll remember me. Cause all we got in this world is family. This one's for the and the kids all in the I'm still learning the lyrics, as you can see. I need that teleprompter right now. We just recorded this last week. Come on. Memories. You and me. Together we. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Freddie. We at the park now, Freddie. Let's set up.
set up the
Canopy.
Now it's time
For some grilling. I'm in my lounge chair. We're at the park and I'm chilling. We got the Michis on deck. It's been a while since we kicked it last time that I checked. There goes the chica taking selfies on the Vicla. Do it for the Grammy. I show 'em you're bonita, right? There you go.
Give it up for ODM.
Yeah. It takes you all the way back to the old school feel of your original music.
That vintage
Absolutely.
sound. You know, Michelle, that's what people are saying. They're DMing me saying, bro, thank you. This is needed at this time. Like,
Yeah.
for taking us back. Like, this is where it's at right now.
Hey, what is her name? The one on the hook?
Mariah Avila.
Man.
She's dope, bro.
Yeah. So one more time, Summer Souldie, ODM, live at Radio Fly.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a treat.
But you know what? It is a treat because we hardly ever get to play, the actual song on the podcast. And so we
Right.
finally get to do it from the artist.
Absolutely.
Live.
And if you want to keep
Yeah.
hearing it, you can run it back here, or you can go in the description on YouTube, click on that link. You can stream it on all digital platforms.
ODM, we're going to wrap it up soon because I know you have to wake up early tomorrow, and I'm thankful that you're here late at night. If there's anybody that wants to become an artist or that wants to get into radio in today's world, with your experience, what would you say to that kid or to them about, okay, here's, what you should do, or here's what you should think when you're trying to get into this business?
I'm going to say, for starters, as far as radio goes, I'm going to say, like, I've been telling kids this for years, like, save your money. Don't go to broadcasting school. You don't have to. Everything you need, especially now in today's age, is online. But I will say this, you can't teach someone personality. That's got to come within. Okay, so you can go learn the formatics, you can learn everything, whatnot, but once this mic is on, it's your personality that drives. Depending on what you want to be, a newscaster, radio host, doing sports, whatever it is. Your personality has to come through those speakers, man, and you really have to liven the people up that are listening to you. So learn that, or come out of your shell. Some people are, and they end up going to broadcasting school, and they may end up in promotions or sales, whatnot. But just know that, just practice on yourself and in the mirror or something. It's cliche. You see radiocasters do this in the mirror all the time. Hey, what's going on? But yeah, that helps, right, Freddie? I mean, you're a radio jock, so.
A lot of trial and error, a lot of practice. Just practice.
And writing stuff down, too.
Yep.
I learned from the greats.
Bullet point. Bullet pointing helps me so much to stay.
You're great at that. I've noticed that everything you do is like structured, where I'm not a writer or a reader. That's why sometimes half the stuff I say just comes out sort of wrong. And
that's the wit.
My co-host, she's always correcting me like, bro, no. But if you really want to get out there, number one, you got to have that hustle, man, like in you. A lot of artists I know nowadays, they send me an MP3 and it's like, hey, bro, play my stuff on the radio. Like, you are just so like misinformed, like, about how this works. And I was that artist too at one point, trust me. And they let me know, like, come on, you know what it was like maybe an artist. Come on, trying to get your stuff played on the radio. And it's like, nah, man, like, don't think it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen. My job is not to make you a star. That's your job. And that comes with hustle and just nonstop. I mean, if you want something to work, then you got to put hours into it. And that's whether it's you're practicing, whether you're hustling, whether you're going to the clubs, shooting them to the DJs, or however it is, meeting, greeting people.
Do you feel like
all that matters?
Do you feel like if it's meant to be, they'll find a way? They'll find a way to make it happen.
They will find a way. I mean, I think it's all timing. Everything's timing, bro. And it could just be, you could make 100 hit records, or in your mind, they could be 100 records, but one of them hit. All it takes is one. That's it. And and you better have a backup record to go with that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
ready to go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you dropped a new song, and like, I don't know if you answered the question all the way when he was asking. So you have the YouTube channel, you have the song, the new song, you have the radio. Is this what you want to keep continuing to do, or is there something that you haven't done yet that's in the works that we can know about, you can hint about? Anything else, like acting, maybe anything else besides what you're doing?
I once wanted to be an actor, but if that opportunity comes, yeah.
What about a new tour? Is there going to be now that live music is coming back, planning any tours?
I can't say tours right now. We just got shows as they come in.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there will be more, because now that I'm with Industry Music Group, they're booking shows with Mariah and I. We got the new single, trying to drop more music. I actually got a unreleased track with Bobby.
Oh, really?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So we'll probably be hitting that one next. And when you
It's
hear that,
gotta
that's
drop.
that's classic Lighter Shade of Brown right there. And I can't wait for everyone to hear that. Going back to what I was saying though, but getting out of the pandemic, that kind of just kicked my butt right into the studio. I had to, but it's never left. When you have a passion for something,
Sure.
it's so deep, it never leaves you. You never lose. It's like riding a bike.
Exactly.
Now, I was thinking, well, how am I going to compete with these cats nowadays? But then I'm listening to some of these cats, and I'm going, they're doing what we did in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me just hop and do what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
really,
Do
that's
it.
all it is.
Well, you have a following, so they're going to keep following you. And then you have people that are new age, I guess you could say, millennials,
Right.
anything. They're listening to it and they're like, "Oh, I kind of like that." They might not have heard your old stuff.
And I thank the parents for
Right.
introducing them to our stuff. Like now I'll go to do shows and I'll see 8-year-olds or 5-year-olds on their daddy's shoulders rapping our lyrics.
Yeah.
If it's because of them, our music is timeless. And you remember we grew up listening. That's how we got introduced to older music because of our
Exactly.
parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the same thing, and I'll always thank God for people like Arla Bo still playing our music on Sunday.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were because we had Jomo last week. And by the way, I want to shout out DJ Cazell because for some reason, in a very coincidental way, he's been coming up a lot in conversation too. So big
Cazell
shout
is,
out to-
an industry music group, bro. That's a smart dude right there. Very humble cat. He's a family man like myself, and I think that's why we clicked.
Yeah.
we know
Yeah.
where we're at right now. We know where we've been. And now it's just taking it to the next level, man. And it's all about family. I got a purpose in life now, and that's what it's about. So that's where I'm at.
How's the merch? How's the merch doing?
The merch is cool, bro. I mean, we got hats, we got shirts. I should have brought you. Dang, bro. See, I'm slipping. I was out the house.
Slipping.
Now, you know what this means? It means you got to come back
I
again.
know. It means you have to come back.
We call it.
Let me get you my size.
Right.
ODM, a frequent flyer. You got to be a frequent flyer
Frequent
on radio.
flyer.
That's what it is, a frequent
Yeah.
flyer. Oh, okay. Hey, anytime you invite me back, bro, every time I drop something, I'll be here.
Love it.
Yeah, and let us know if you have a show coming up. We'll go support you for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
We'll be right
Michelle and
there.
I will be there. Yeah, for sure.
Waving to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, first time on Radio Flyer. A longtime coworker of mine, a longtime friend. We've
We play racquetball together, bro. You didn't even talk about that.
that's next time.
And you
Next
owe me,
time.
bro.
Let me tell you right now. ODM recorded us playing some racquetball
On my GoPro.
and I'm like, all right, here I am about to show up ODM because I've been playing racquetball every day.
You've been playing it a
And
long time,
ODM
yeah.
says, I haven't played it in a long time. I'm like, all right. He comes in, he beats me, but that's fine.
That's
fine.
BS. I did in the
get it.
beginning, but
Okay.
somehow he came back and he ended up beating me. That's why I never want to play him no more.
That's so funny.
Typical only children.
Ladies and gentlemen, ODM, everybody.
Yes.
Lighter shade of brown, baby. Thank you, Freddie.
Can I
Michelle.
Can I play a little?
Do what you want. It's your world. Hey, what you say? 2021. Every day, all day. Have some fun. Hey.
Still my favorite.
That's right. We got Freddie Rivera. We got Michelle. Rock the bells, old school, as you can tell. We got the instrumental, never need no pencil. And we was...
Sitting in the park on a Sunday afternoon. Me and the
Now, so I'm going to close out the show. Any last shout outs, social media you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
If you don't mind. At The Real ODM is where you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's what I use the most. I'm on Snapchat, TikTok, a little bit, but those are the main platforms right there. Also, shout outs to Lighter Shade of Brown. Follow us. It's LSOB 1990 Official on Facebook, LSOB 1990 on Instagram. And the RVG fam, please subscribe to our family YouTube channel. It's a day in, day out. My wife runs that, she's the face of that because, women love to see what other women are doing around the house. They just and I kid you not, man, 90% of our subscribers are females, bro.
It's very
That's
entertaining.
awesome.
Can you explain that really quick?
Why? Wait.
Why is it just women just
I don't know. It's interesting. It's something to do, and it's something that you could learn from everything else too. You're watching other people and how they do it. That's a good idea. Let
It's
me do
fun
that.
to see how other people do what the other thing.
Like
Yeah,
cooking
because we
and-
second guess ourselves. Is that normal? I mean, is it
Oh,
normal
I
to do
got
this?
you.
Is it normal to do that? We're like, hey, she does that too. Look, we're good. Or this is how we do with our kids, or learn new ideas.
New ideas, exactly. So I learned I wasn't the star of that, so my wife is. But I encourage you to check that out. And so are my 3 beautiful children, Layla, Amaya, and Elijah, RVG fam on YouTube.
All
Yep.
beautiful names, by the way.
Thank you, brother. I
Yes.
appreciate it. It's a blessing. I'm so blessed to have.
Beautiful family.
God, I waited so long, and like my uncle said, dude, I'm living the best years of my life. I thought I was 30 years.
Yeah,
Nah, now I am, bro.
that's amazing.
You got to get yourself one. Come on, dude. Come on, Freddie.
I'm trailing behind somewhere.
Come on, Freddie. No, you got time. You got
That's that
time.
late. That's
Somewhere
that
in the
late
back.
bloomer.
I still need the energy of this.
Look at that. You still want to be in the clubs. I'm Freddie Rivera, and I got drink tickets. What you...